When love broke through, you found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool. Now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken, and it all began with you.
Hello, everybody, and happy Father's Day. I know what you're probably thinking. Elise is here to talk about Jesus and being a Christian and yada, yada, yada. And yes, you are correct. You see, I would be lying if I said that my life didn't center around Christ. I believe that everything in my life up to this point has truly led me to Christ and led me to this testimony. Okay, so it all started on May 21st, 1997 in St. Petersburg, Russia. That's where I was born. I was adopted by two awesome people, aka my parents. And I was about 2 when I was adopted. I don't really know much about it, although I do know that it was not a good situation in the orphanage, and I am forever grateful for my parents who came and rescued me. Being adopted has always been a huge part of my testimony as a Christian. I often stop and wonder to think, why did my parents choose me? Out of all of the orphans and babies there, like, why was I chosen? And it's a really cool feeling to know that, like, you were chosen. And kind of piggybacking off of that, that's kind of how Christianity works. So yeah, the idea of being chosen is like a really cool concept when you think about it in terms of Christianity and whenever you accept Christ. I think that adoption is a very good illustration of Christ and the church. God essentially adopts all of his people into his family. There's nothing that we as Christians could have said or done to have earned that adoption. It's just by his love and his mercy and his grace. So yeah, adoption is a great illustration of Christianity. So growing up, I wasn't in. Okay, we're gonna read it. So growing up, my family was pretty typical. I wouldn't label ourselves as the perfect Christian home or anything. We'd go to church most Sundays and holidays and stuff like that. I know for a fact that my dad had a huge role in choosing our church and facilitating those activities. And I just remember as a young girl going to church and seeing my father just so happy and excited to worship in a way that I had never seen him before. It was a really cool thing to go to church with my father and just see his love and passion for Christ. And when I was younger, I can say that honestly, I was kind of thrown off by that. I was like, why is my dad being like this? Like, this is weird. I mean, he was overall a happy guy, but in church, there's something different about him, and it was really cool to see. So while I'd like always grown up in and around the church, I probably wouldn't consider myself saved until my 8th grade year. That was the year I attended a Christian camp called Surf City. It is in Lake Michigan, and my dad was so nervous about sending me off. He was like, I don't want you going that far, blah, blah, blah. He was very overprotective, but it was good. He loved me a lot. So yeah, I went to that church camp, and I remember one of the nights they showed a video of just kind of the story of Jesus Christ and what he went through on the cross. And I just remember being just in awe. After the video, I cried uncontrollably, and some of my friends were crying, but like I was off the deep end. I was just like, how could this happen to such a righteous man? Like, I was just so convicted, and it was great. And I remember after that video was shown, we all had 30 minutes worth of quiet time, sorry. We had 30 minutes of quiet time alone outside, and I had some really deep reflective thoughts there. I really questioned my existence and my purpose on this earth. I thought long and hard about the tough questions, and I'm truly thankful for that time that I had. It was I would consider myself saved on that very day. I think the night after, we all went up to the sand dunes on Lake Michigan, and that was just one of the prettiest things I had ever seen in my life. It was just like to see the ocean and off the sand and just recognize how beautiful God's creation is. It was just a great experience overall, and I plan on being a camp counselor there this summer in August. So I'm really excited for that. I couldn't do it last summer because of cross country preseason, but I'm not doing the cross country team anymore, so it's gonna work out, and I'm excited for that. So yeah, high school. Let's talk about that. I don't know. It wasn't like the best experience, but it wasn't like a horrible one for me. I attended a really small private Christian school. I graduated in a class of, I think, like 30 or 31, so it was a really small class. I was just so ready to be done by my senior year. I was getting out of here. I'm going to college somewhere far, far away. I'm out of Pittsburgh. I'm done. Yeah, I'll get to that later. So I was one of the very few girls that was interested in running. I did cross country for 3 years and track for 4 years. I didn't become a distance runner until my sophomore year, which I'll get to that as well. So yeah, I was one out of the very few girls who liked running. So I was kind of alone in that sense. All my friends were doing like the school play or volleyball or normal high school girl activities. I was just after school putting in the miles. I mean, I don't know, what can I say? I kind of caught on, got a little addicted, but it's fine. It's definitely improved my life in a positive way. So yeah, my sophomore year is when I ran my first cross country meet, and I can remember myself crying and vowing to never do it again because the pain was so bad. Like, I hated it so much. I was like, I'm never doing this again. And I mean, the next year I qualified for states, and so I don't know, I just kept with it, and I proved to myself that if you're willing to work hard, you can accomplish anything you want. I dropped 4 minutes off my 5K, and that's kind of what I wrote all my college essays about. But yeah, on to college. So yeah, I always planned on moving far away for college, and then I got a phone call. This is a horrible transition, I'm sorry. I got a phone call. So yeah, one day it was actually a weekend. My dad and my mom were visiting my brother in college to visit him, and I was staying at home for the weekend to finish up some college essays and some schoolwork. And it was a Sunday. I went to Starbucks to finish my paper. I came back home, and I called my brother to see what they were doing, and they said, oh, we're at this ski resort just kind of being tourists in New York. I think it was Peak and Peak in New York. And something in his voice sounded off, and I couldn't really tell what it was, but something was off. And so he hung up, and I called about an hour later because I was around 4 or 5 or so, and me, being the runner I am, was getting really hungry. And I called my mom and said, hey, are you guys going to be home for dinner, or are you guys bringing food home? And she had a really worried tone in her voice and said, I don't know, we'll call you back in 5 minutes. And I've never heard her sound as worried as that moment. And I knew something was up. I didn't know exactly what it was, although I knew by the tone in her voice that something wasn't right. And so an hour passed and no call, and I call back, and my brother picks up and said, Elise, your father is dead. And I was in complete shock, and I didn't know what to think. And I knew he wouldn't joke around about that kind of stuff, so I knew it was true, and I just I couldn't believe it was true. Because my dad and we were best friends. I feel like we didn't have a normal father-daughter relationship. We weren't just acquaintances. He was my best friend. And for him to just disappear without warning was the hardest thing I could have ever experienced in my life. Nothing I could have done would have prepared me for that moment. So shortly after, my aunt comes walking down our driveway and sobbing. And then my dad's side of the family, they're all local. They start pouring in my home. and my mom and my brother on the way back. And I can just remember my mom telling me to call the pastor, tell him to call the funeral home. Like, I had to call these arrangements for my dead father. It was horrible, and I can't. The whole next week was a blur, to be honest. The only thing of that week that I do remember is me being the last one to leave my father's open casket, and I said to him, "I will see you again," with tears sobbing down my face. I didn't say it in this tone. I said, "I'm going to see you again in heaven," and it was, every word I said was 100% true. And to this day, I still cannot wait to see my father in heaven. And who knows, maybe I'll be so overcome by the glory of Christ where I won't even remember. I'll probably remember him. What am I talking about? But yeah, so that was a very tragic situation. Going through the rest of my senior year of high school was definitely difficult. My senior year of high school, I didn't have the friends that I started high school with. It just kind of faded. And so those couple of months, the second semester of my senior year, well, I guess second half, was the roughest thing I ever experienced. The only thing that really kept me going those couple of months was running. I would stay after school every day, preseason, indoor season, outdoor, every day, and run. It was the only thing that could get my mind off of the situation. So yeah, that spring of my senior year, I broke the 800-meter school record, the mile school record, and the 2-mile school record, which I didn't plan on doing, but I did, and it just proved to myself that, I don't know, I'm a really strong person, and I got through it, and it was overall a good, successful year. I think I ended up with like a 3.9 GPA, and yeah, so it was a successful school year, but I lost my dad. So yeah, that summer, what did I do that summer? I didn't do any jobs, don't really do a summer job, but that summer I was just kind of chilling. And I couldn't even run that summer because I actually ended up with a tibial stress fracture, which was horrible. A summer without running is horrible for non-runners. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I went to the YMCA pool and I aqua jogged every day. It was so monotonous and I hated it. Did a lot of weightlifting that summer. I was trying to qualify to run for Division I school, Pitt. And I was on the team for about 3 months, and my times were just nowhere near where they were in high school. Yeah, I guess I'll go into my freshman year of college now. So freshman year, I already mentioned I go to Pitt. Oh yeah, about that. So yeah, I planned on going to school really far away, but ever since the whole dad thing, I definitely wanted to be closer to my home and closer to my family. I lived on campus, which was great. I definitely wasn't going to commute, but yeah, I was glad I made that decision. I ended up really liking Pitt, so it was a good decision. So yeah, going into freshman year, my freshman year was a mess, to say the least. I mean, only a mess because, I came in on the NCAA Division I team and then quit that after 3 months and did the club team because my times weren't where they were supposed to be. I made a lot of great friends on the club team, though, and I'm really glad I did it. I didn't know my major, which was really difficult. I came in an actuarial math major. Worst decision of my life. I remember looking online at, top paying jobs. Oh, I like numbers. I could be an actuary, right? And I get to actuarial math 1 with this Asian professor I can't understand. I'm doing all the homeworks, and I'm just like, I hate myself. I can't do this. So, and then I tried being a math econ major, and then Calc 2 didn't work out, and yeah. So I joined this thing called the Innovation Entrepreneurship LLC. It was like a living learning community for freshmen who are interested in entrepreneurship, and genuinely, I forget checking that box to be in the LLC. And then I remember I got to my floor the first day. I'm like, oh, I signed up for this, right? Oh, whatever. Okay, I'll play along. And I ended up participating in a startup competition, and my team got 4th place, which was exciting. We tried to develop a financial planning app for college students. So not only would it help them budget their money, but it would also help educate them on financial things that a lot of kids, including myself, just don't know. I think financial education is a huge deal, and we definitely don't make it a priority as much as we should. So through working on that project, I don't know if we're going to pursue the startup or not, but just through working on it, I really developed a passion for finance and started investigating more into like markets. My freshman year, I took macro and microeconomics, and I really enjoyed the principles and theories behind those things. And so yeah, I plan on transferring to the business school this year, and I'm just really excited that I have a clearer picture of what I'm doing and something that's actually doable as opposed to actuarial math. So yeah, I'm just really excited going into sophomore year, having a clearer picture of what I want to do. I joined a group on campus called RUF, Reformed University Fellowship. I met a lot of great, genuine people through that organization, and my faith has grown. I remember prior to coming to Pitt, I was like, okay, Elise, this is a secular campus. You've been in a small private Christian school for all your life. You're in a new environment, and I didn't know how it was going to go, but honestly, RUF made the freshman year college experience 100 times better. I got to grow with believers, and it was great. So yeah, going back to RUF, they have this thing called summer conference. Every summer, we go to Panama City Beach, and we attend conferences and seminars. I mean, not conferences, seminars on Christianity. And I attended one seminar. It was called Suffering and Justice in the Bible and Why Christians Suffer. I definitely suffered a lot, and I wanted some answers as to why I was suffering. And I already knew this, but the guy who gave the seminar just gave me a clearer picture and understanding of it. So basically, God created the world. Through the devil, sin entered the world. God did not intend for sin to happen, however, it's a thing. And so, sin. But the good news for Christians is that God sent his son Jesus to die for our sins and to rescue us from the evil of this world. If it weren't for Jesus Christ, I truly don't know what Christianity would even be about. I mean, if God didn't have his plan for redemption for his people, we would still be sacrificing lambs like in the Old Testament people, and who wants to be doing that? So, yeah, God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for us and to save us from our sins and to overcome evil. And this life that we've been given is just a speck of dust in the air. It's compared to eternity. Something a lot of people don't realize is that this life is so short. We are given a set amount of time on this earth, and God calls us to spread his word. I mean, I can't really put it in any other words. God called us to spread his word, spread the gospel, and to spread the good news. And that's what I'm trying to do. I truly believe my life's mission is to share the gospel with others and to share with them the hope, the good news, and justice that Jesus has provided me throughout my life. I mean, if it weren't for Jesus, I don't know where I would be in my life. Christianity is so much more than going to church or being a good person. It's developing a relationship with the one who created you, and I can't think of a better thing. I mean, after I read my Bible and spend time in the Word and spend time in prayer, I just feel so much better, more fulfilled, and more connected. So, yeah, that's my story. I hope that you got something from this video. Feel free to share it or whatever. And, yeah, happy Father's Day. Enjoy your family. And remember the one who made you. Okay, bye, guys.
Can't fake it, you can't break it. You can't change, can't fake, can't break. I'm your girl. Oh, yeah. For the whole wide world to see. And I think I could make you happy. You say I'm just a friend, tell me I'm just a friend, so I'll be that, I'll be that.
Come on, give me that phone.